All right, so we good. And then I'll open it up on my on YouTube just to make sure it's running all right. So you saw the messages I sent you though, man, about good old Frank Vogel gonna be unemployed. He gonna be in an unemployment line.
I still don't believe it's his fault, man. To be honest with you, I
Nah,
believe
I mean, yeah, it's not his
it's
fault, man.
it, they assembled a team that doesn't fit his offense too well. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And
yeah.
the first team to go is the coach, but they're not going to look at the players or anything else with it. It's we'll go with the coach first. How do you know the next coach isn't gonna is going to be the answer?
No, I don't even think. To be honest, I think because of how badly the season ended, they almost feel like they have to fire the coach. I think that's what it comes down to. I don't think that Frank Vogel did a bad job. He got them to the championship. They went away from a lot of the things that they were good at, like playing defense and then turning defense into quick points. So they and then they went into trying to be an offensive team, but they never really lined up with Frank Vogel's thought process behind basketball in general. He's all about defensive. He's a defensive minded coach. He has to have good defensive guards and wings and a good defensive center. And we didn't have any of that this year. We were atrocious on defense. So
What about calling out the GM? He's the
yeah,
one assembling.
yeah,
They're the ones assembling. If it's not true, and you gotta if you're gonna start rolling heads, you gotta look at the GM. That's also involved as well. I know they've been there for a while, the Buzz family, but at some point you got to hold someone accountable for even thinking that this was a great idea to assemble the oldest Avengers team known to mankind.
Avengers assemble. Hey, well, I think from what I've been hearing, they're gonna give him one more year to figure this out. The GM that is, for the Lakers. So they're gonna give him one more opportunity to kind of figure it out next year, and we'll see what they do in the offseason. There's rumors about the Hornets possibly wanting Russell Westbrook, but
Oh,
that
I saw that.
that
That'd be
sounds like a pipe dream because that would be awesome for the Lakers. But I doubt it would help the Hornets very much. So I'm just a little confused by that story. I'm like, if
very
as a Laker fan, for sure, I'll take Gordon Hayward and I'll take what's the kid name? What's the one that he was with the Warriors with the blonde.
you want Kelly Oubre Jr.
Yeah, that's who you go end up getting. I mean, you have to get something. It's
You
either that
want
or Terry Rozier. They're not giving up Bridges. They're not giving up Melo. So the only good player is all. I mean, you're gonna have to take one of those guys, if not both.
well, yeah, the first ball experience didn't work in LA. I don't think this one's gonna work in
No,
LA either.
and
But
yeah, Charlotte's not trading ball, man. They're not stupid. I don't think.
you never know. There's the stupid is a stupid does.
Right.
But I don't think the Hornets. I don't think the Hornets are going to do it. I mean, you're going to pay $40 million for a guy to come off the bench and be your point guard. I think it's absolutely stupid. But then again, people spend stupid money to do stupid things.
Yeah, yeah. Or we end up trading bad contract for bad contract and trade with Houston for John Wall, right? I mean, there's not a lot of options that they have at this point in time with that contract, man. So, not quite sure what the heck is
Dude,
going is going to happen.
you just seen Bleacher Report absolutely destroy the Lakers on social media. It was amazing.
I
I
mean, everybody is. I mean, I was just watching TNT and they brought up that quote that LeBron laid out there, telling everybody to keep the same energy, throughout the
ah,
season, and I think he should have changed it to I hope us as a team keep the same energy throughout the season because they never were a consistent team on offense or defense. The effort was waning all the time. They did look like a bunch of old farts who were looking forward to the championship but hadn't done anything to win games on a day to day. So I don't want to see this team come back. Honestly, I don't care what they do at this point. Just don't bring back every. Just get rid of Russell Westbrook if you can. Braun had a spectacular offensive year, but we don't have anything to show for it. So that's in my book. That's neither here nor there. And Anthony Davis has been injured. So
the Lakers got a fishing trip to show for LeBron's. great offensive season here. It's a shame he's not going to win MVP.
Yeah. Banana
Speaking
boat.
of MVP, let's have this debate here. Who are you taking for MVP? If you could vote and select for MVP, I believe the candidates are as of right now. The Joker,
Embiid.
Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
Is DeRozan in this conversation?
No, I mean, I mean, he was, but I don't think he's as involved as anymore. I think you got Antetokounmpo in there because he's in the top three is scoring. So I think those are kind of the guys that I'm looking at. Let's see. But let's see. Yeah, Luka Doncic. There you go.
I don't think he's done enough to win.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick one, I think Embiid deserves his credit. Yeah. He hasn't been all that hurt. He's been the vocal point of the Sixers. They're hoping that him and James Harden can get this get this train rolling. But we'll see if playoff James Harden shows up instead of regular season James Harden.
Yeah, right.
We all know how.
Yeah.
I think Embiid is your MVP this year. That's just my honest opinion here. He's been consistent all year. You can't take that away from the man.
Yeah. No, I think Embiid would definitely deserve it. I mean, it was interesting because you have two big guys with him and Giannis in the running, which is cool, which generally doesn't happen very often. Giannis is not going to win it because he's already won it. I don't think. The NBA has been real fickle about giving out MVPs so close to one another back to back. They don't like doing that anymore. So I think
it was my boy Curry.
Yeah,
unanimous back to back MVP.
He was doing some crazy stuff, man. He was taking threes from his house, So I mean, they kind of didn't have a choice.
Hey. What about Jason Tatum?
Jason Tatum, I like Luka Doncic better than Jason Tatum as far as being an MVP candidate, and that's just because Luka is the driving force of everything that the Dallas Mavericks do. I mean, they can't do nothing unless Luka Doncic is driving it. And he's been their assist man, he's been their point man. He's played heavy minutes, and if they have a chance at all in the playoffs, he's gonna have to be like 30. Somewhere between 30 and 40 points a game. So I think he's a real, like, if you look at the true definition of an MVP, I think it is, guys like Luka and Embiid and Giannis too. But again, Giannis already won just recently. I don't think they're not going to give it to him again. So, I think you might be right though. Embiid being a guy who's been in the league and has really established himself as a superstar, but hasn't been consistent enough throughout a season or during the playoffs. I think this was his year. So I think Embiid will end up winning the MVP. So I think Embiid he might be the way to go. Although I will say I don't know. I feel like, in my opinion, if we're looking at what a guy offers to a team, it probably should be Nikola Jokic again. I mean, he's been pretty consistent for some years now. He's the best center in the entire league, and that's including Embiid, in my opinion. Just because he's like, he does what Luka Doncic does for the Mavericks, except for he does it for the Nuggets from the center position. Also, you have to consider Embiid had James Harden added to the mold a little bit later in the game, and the team that Embiid had wasn't that bad. But the Denver Nuggets haven't had Jamal Murray all season. And they lost Porter Jr. About, I think, earlier in the season or about halfway through the season. So they just haven't really had all the stars in their team, but they've still been able to make the playoffs, and he's been a huge part of that. So I'm gonna change my vote. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna say Jokic.
Jokic. We're going with
the Joker now, in for MVP.
So we've had. Do you consider Giannis a center, or is he more considered a power forward? He's more considered the power forward, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes. In today's league, he can play both positions, but
power forward.
Yeah, but traditionally when they're playing him, he's playing alongside a center. So yeah, absolutely, I would say he's a power forward.
So let's look at the MVPs over the last, what is it? Coming up on 3 years now.
Yeah,
You've had Giannis win an MVP 3 years ago.
right.
Uh,
And then you got to go way far back, I think, to find another one. I'm trying to think of who else.
so before Giannis, there wasn't another center, but now we're gonna have the potential of three big men
Yeah,
winning the MVP. And if Jokic wins this again, he's gonna be the first player since Moses Malone to win back-to-back MVPs as a center in the center position.
Yeah.
In a guard-oriented league with everyone that's out there,
Right.
it's lightweight impressive when you consider the centers like a dying age of basketball there. So,
absolutely.
but we should see. I think it all depends on where these teams finish. I think they're both within the same. I think they're both the 4 seed in their
Yeah.
respected
Yeah, both. Yeah,
conference. So I think this is going to be an important end to the basketball season to see where they're going to finish out and who gets it here. So we'll check back in. We'll be posting we're going to post a poll to see who the world thinks their MVP is for this NBA season. But
yeah.
I got up early this morning, bro. I wanted to tell you this. I got up dumbass early this morning, and you would not believe the reason why. But it's the greatest reason
Okay,
why.
well, what is dumbass early? Is it like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock? What time you get up?
I got up at 7 because I start work at 10, so I'm normally like 8:45 or something like that. So
Seven's early for you. Okay, all right. That ain't that damn early, but it's early.
So the Masters started today.
Oh yes, that's right. They did start.
Well, it's not the greatest, but it's popular out there. But seeing Tiger Woods out there, and good for him, who almost lost his leg
in a car accident.
So he's got rod, plate, screws all up and down his leg, and the dude shot a -1. He shot a 71 in that course, and seeing him back gives golf a great chance. And I know a lot of people don't talk about golf or anything like that, but you really got to watch when Tiger Woods is on the course compared to when he's not playing. When he's not playing, no
one's watching. Yeah, I can tell.
No one's watching golf. I get rats asked about golf.
Right.
Me personally, I'll do the Sunday chilling in my drawers, golf in the background, falling and taking about 4 naps.
Falling asleep, yeah.
But today I purposely woke up to watch that man tee off, seeing what he was doing, and just think about what he's been through. He had the world in his hands. He goes on this opioid adventure. It almost ruined his life.
Yeah, that was more. Yeah, it was a lot. He was in a tumultuous time.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, the old black SUV incident. Yes, sir. We were all very, very aware. They didn't call him Tiger for nothing.
Almost turned into O.J. Simpson. With black.
Hey, wait, hold on now. Hold on. He ain't turned to O.J. now.
But he did one thing every golfer wishes they would have done.
Yeah.
He slept with 18 women. He basically covered a whole golf course with cheating on his wife here, and that boy did she pay out.
Had a Rolodex.
It was over millions of dollars that she cashed out on.
Yeah, no, she got paid. She got paid for sure.
People say during the car accident that he wasn't under anything. It was a freak accident. But when I saw that mugshot, I was like, dude, you look like you were on something. Like, that was the face of like, man, I had some more opioids. But it's good to see him back. All jokes aside, I love watching him play. It's a nice scene for golf. Yeah. Just to watch it. I know for a lot of people it's not something like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go watch golf, but just watch it. Like just seeing I'm gonna bring this up, but just seeing the white people go crazy.
Oh yeah, they love
for this man.
Oh, yeah.
They love his ass.
Well, I mean, I remember watching him when he was in his prime, and obviously being black. I mean, how could you not watch Tiger Woods? I mean, the kid must have been like what, 20 years old or something, 20. I mean, he came in and was lit the entire, the entire golf sport on fire, and I remember watching him play and being able to watch him on Sundays and watch him either take the lead or handily destroy a bunch of 60-year-old white men. I mean, he changed the game. Now you see all of these new young players playing golf from different regions of the world. So he's really changed the game. People came behind him and really took the sport to a new level. Money wise as well. People weren't making as much money playing golf. It was more of a gentleman's game played by rich men that already had money. Turned into a sport where a kid who, a kid from where's Tiger from? Yeah, why don't I remember? I can't remember off the top of my head. He's from Cali.
Is he
He's
from
from
Cali?
SoCal.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, is he from Southern California? I'm pretty sure he's from Southern California. Tell me if I'm wrong. If there's anybody watching this right now. Where's Tiger from? Anyway, so.
So that one person, look it up. Let us know.
But yeah, so yeah, he took it by storm, man. So it's always great to see greatness. I think that's as a fan, you can't be mad at greatness. So anytime you think there's gonna be some greatness unfolding, like there was, I believe it was a couple of years ago when he won. Was it the Masters that he won? He won the Masters last time. So,
Yes.
so yeah, so I mean it's crazy. I give you another athlete that I think is one of the greatest athletes in the history of sports who doesn't get talked about a lot is Serena Williams. Is one of my favorite athletes to watch, and I get up at 4 in the morning to watch her play the Australian Open. Brian, don't I see some jokes? I know that I saw in your face. You're about to drop something. I know. I heard. No, it's okay. I'm being serious here. I mean, you're about to. Anyway, so yeah, no, but just my point is greatness is greatness. When it's there, please watch it, because as a fan, you're gonna grow up and get old and you get to tell your kids about it. I get my grandfather tell me about different people he watched playing and athletes that he watched competing. So you want to be able to say, hey, I witnessed that. I saw that. So yeah, absolutely, you should definitely tune in.
Yeah. When I tell my kids my favorite golfer was Tiger Woods, and it wasn't because he was golfing, man, are they going to be so proud of that man?
Hey man, he
Just
ain't
live
got
it.
nothing on Will Chamberlain now. He's still he ain't Will Chamberlain status. I mean, he did have the cell phone, so it made Will Chamberlain didn't have no cell phone. Nah, man, Will Chamberlain had a cell phone and an Instagram. Oh man, Will would have had 100,000 when he been 20.
Jeez, he was the Little Wayne of his
Little
era,
Lil
that's
Wayne.
for sure. Not a phone. That's the only thing that held him back was without a phone.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah,
Sure.
he just needed the internet. Then he would have been like on and popping.
He had been on all sorts
Right.
of websites that we didn't want.
Shout out Draymond Green. Keep your stuff in your pants.
Oh, dude. I had to see Draymond off Snapchat. All that they dropped about it, I was like, I couldn't believe that was true. I didn't want to hit the back. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to hit the back arrow because I'm not trying to see it. I saw it once.
Oh,
That's all I
man.
needed. It's up in the air for debate, but it was.
You
I
dumb.
mean, when I saw the report that it was true, I was like, I've seen it now. That's
You hella
great.
dumb. Draymond. I'm glad everybody forgot about that. I mean, good for him, because
Yeah, except for the memory in my head.
that's what you. And you a Warriors fan too? Oh man, I feel bad for you, man. Feel bad.
But it's good. It's good to have Tiger back. It's good. It's that course, and race is a big topic in the world here, and for people who don't watch golf or know, but the Masters, Augusta National was prominently a white man's golf. And it's just the truth. Look it up. It's facts. It's there before Tiger. There was one other African American golf player that was on there, but didn't get the same respect until Tiger Woods stepped on the course. When Tiger tore that course a new one and changed the face of how golf is looked at, because like all sports, when you look at race when it comes to sports, golf gets scrutinized, I think, more than anything because it's considered a white man's game there.
Yeah.
And for him to step in and do what he did, and like you said, we get a chance to look at him. There are other minorities out there who are playing this game now because of him.
Right. Exactly.
That culture. And when you look at the professional golfers, there are a lot more minority golfers on there who get the respect that they deserve as an athlete. Instead of judged by the color of their skin, they're being judged by the skill of the sport that they play, which is perfectly fine. And that is all due to Tiger Woods in that sport. If there was no Tiger Woods that we had, I don't think we're having this conversation with
No,
other athletes here.
it continues to be a bland country club game. That's all it would become, and that's ideally that's what it's been for a very very long time. Where it's just a very select group of older Caucasian men playing a sport, and there, there was a competition there, but anyone who plays sports understands that you're not truly competing unless everybody has an opportunity to play. So they had to open it up at some point to allow other folks to get involved from different backgrounds, from different nations, and from and from different ethnicities. Because no matter where we look, those things always make whatever sport you're in more complete. And you have to have that in order to have the appeal, in order to support your sport. Now, golf could support itself because it's just a bunch of old rich people playing it anyway. But as a sport, just like Tiger Woods is Happy Gilmore, man. It's the same idea, right? No, seriously, I'm not making fun of Tiger Woods. I'm just saying it's the same idea for people who may want to try to wrap their heads around the idea. It's the same idea. Somebody comes into the sport that's different, does something amazing, you have no choice but to respect it, even if you don't like it. And so that's kind of what golf had to figure out. But the greatest thing about this nation is it is a capitalist nation. So that means as long as they make it money, they'll get over it, and that's what ended up happening. Tiger Woods made a lot of money. The PGA Tour made a crap ton of money that they had never even seen before. More viewership, more attendance, and then they're not going to turn that down just because they're like the guy's black. No, they're going to be like, well, we don't normally do this, but go ahead and let him play. Because it's like they wanted to make the money, and there's not there's nothing wrong with that, but Tiger Woods had the talent and the skill to be dominant in his sport, regardless of what color his skin was. So he'll get a lot more positive press and positive as far as being remembered as a key athlete in the history of that sport later down the line. Yeah. Just like all athletes do. For instance, the late great Kobe Bryant, one of my most favorite player of all time in basketball. I love Kobe. Grew up watching him. Watched when he got drafted. Watched him play. Everything. That's my favorite dude. But while he was playing, you kidding me? People hated him. Everybody hated him. Other people's teams hated him.
Everyone hates the greatest player.
Exactly. Sportscasters hated him. He was selfish. He didn't pass the ball. He wasn't a team player. He ran Shaq off. Like, I go on and on, man. People just peppered this guy most of his career. It wasn't until the final 4 to 5 years of his career that people were like, oh, Kobe, we like Kobe. Hey, Kobe, how's it going? And that's only because the youth that came into the league had watched him when he was playing, and they respected him. So everybody else had no choice, because you wouldn't have a Jason Tatum or a Devin Booker or these guys without Kobe Bryant. They have to watch somebody and emulate someone in order to be who they are. And even Kobe himself emulated Michael Jordan, as the player that he looked up to. It's once those guys go, then, or once they get towards the end of their careers and time passes, then people have that respect for him. Like, oh yeah, Tiger Woods was one of the greatest golfers in the history of the game. And I'm sure people know that now, but there's still a lot of drama around the guy, just like there was around Kobe for quite some time. So, it takes time for that to fade away, and then people get an opportunity to really appreciate. Only problem is, if you weren't watching, you got to watch it on replay. See, I got to watch Kobe play. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I got to see all beginning to end. I got to see the game-winning shots. I got to see the Kobe, Smush Parker, Lamar Odom teams who were Kwame Brown, the trash teams, and Kobe would just average like 34 points a game and drop 50, 60, 70, 80. The season he was doing that team was barely cutting their teeth. That team was like meddling in the 6th, 7th, and 8th spot. I mean, and he was showing up every night and getting it done. And you could probably speak to this too, because now I'm getting on a different tangent. But that's how players were then. It didn't really matter. Guys went out and played. They played hard.
Are you hearing this, LeBron? Are you hearing this? Hope took a team that didn't mean shit. Bush Park fans were bigger than the ball. That's who he was working with. And he brought it into the playoffs. Remember that.
That's right.
The team. He took a team. He won. He beat the Celtics with that.
Well, not yet. He got the game-winning shot and went up. I believe it was 2-1 or 3-1 over the Phoenix Suns that year, who were the number 1 seed. That was the big accomplishment that season. Smush Parker steals the ball, goes down court, gets it to Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant gets the layup, and then they end up with that last possession on a turnover. And then Kobe brings it down the floor, gets past half court, gets to the spot just to the right of the free throw line, pulls up, bang, game over. Now, they went on to lose that series. People forget that. That's a great moment, but they lost that series, okay? They lost that series. Phoenix went on to play and lose to San Antonio. But they... What do you say, B?
You still remember that, though.
Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday. That was in my house. I nearly jumped out of my house. Yeah, I like my head almost hit the ceiling when he hit that shot, man. So, big moment, man. Big moments. That's why, these guys got to compete, man. There would have never been a Reggie Miller scoring 9 points in 8 seconds in today's league. You understand? I don't think that would ever happen in today's league. Because I mean, the way dudes just gotta compete all the time. And sometimes you'll see guys, they just kind of shrug their shoulders, man. So, I saw a lot of this season with the Lakers. Russell Westbrook, air ball.
Oh, man, it was an air ball.
Yeah.
Be all right.
Yeah.
I got this. No, dude, you ain't got shit.
No.
Let's just leave it like that. But, hopefully he's wearing back to Tiger, just real quick. I hope he's wearing a red shirt on Sunday, because I'm going to lose my shit. I will be a fan if he wears that red shirt, because when there's red shirt on, there's blood in the water, and he's looking for a championship. So
yeah, golf's
happy that he's back. The views were amazing today. I mean, for God's sakes, got my ass up at 7 a.m. watching golf. So that's something I really do. Shout out to Kansas, the Kansas Jayhawks winning a national title this year. College basketball, college football, y'all got to do something about this. I'm tired of seeing the same teams win. The shit is getting boring now. I'll start with college football here first. The 2 to 3 teams that are just consistent in this fucking playoff: Alabama,
Clemson, yeah.
It's you got to change it. 4 teams is not enough for me.
Playoff.
It just doesn't, because I'm not watching it after that.
Yeah.
Those teams are tired of playing each other. It gets boring. They need to expand. Now, the college basketball tournament, that's different. It's a 64-team field. Anything can happen. But we all know at the end of the day, we're seeing one of those top blue, they call them blue blood teams, back into the Final Four. I mean, from Duke, North Carolina. I mean, I think it was a conspiracy theory, but I damn near believe it, because it was Coach K's last year. It just so happens to believe that North Carolina and Duke play each other in a national semi-game. Fucking sell the place out like it was nothing there. Drew the most people to watch that damn game. God, they got to do something about it. I'm tired
I think
play over and over.
I think with football, I mean, eventually they should look to extend it to 8 teams as opposed to just the 4. I really think just the structure of college football is so money driven that it's going to be very difficult to get them to peel away from the structure that they have in place now. I mean, they really want to emphasize these bowl games, and the bowl games are sponsored by, as you well know, every company in the world.
Not watching the Jimmy Kimmel.
Right, exactly right.
Nobody's watching that shit. Okay?
But there's money to be made. This is
something to maximize the capital of this money.
Right.
It's an 8 playoff, right?
Yeah.
Your top 2 teams get the bye. They get a bye. Just if you want to break it down like an NFL playoff standpoint, this is how you do it. Your 6 teams. It's an 18 playoff with 6 games to go. You cut half these bullshit bowl games, and this is including the Bahama Bowl, which involves the absolute one. Okay, Now, if they want to, you can keep them, but on Saturday, the college owns Saturday. The NFL takes it over as soon as bowl season starts because there's not enough games for college to fill.
Yeah.
So, and if you want your Saturday still, on Saturdays, there's the 8 teams in the playoffs, the 6 that have to play, those teams, that's your wild card weekend.
Yeah.
Those teams play, right? And then the following week, now we get into the quarterfinals, you get your semifinals, and then you get your national championship game. You allow the home teams for the wild card to host an NCAA playoff game in their home field. That's going to draw people. This will draw revenue. This will draw TV ratings. The following week, you take over the NFL stadiums here on a Saturday. You can start doing that. They just need to expand. I'm not watching Alabama play Clemson for the 9th time in these college football playoffs because if I see it again, I'm going to rip my eyeballs out because I'm tired of hearing him interview Nick Saban.
Man, dude, like, I mean, those schools are so well established that they have the first pick of the litter when it comes to recruiting and all that. And again, it's about the money, man. The money that's put into some of these facilities are tremendous. I was just in Louisville, Kentucky, and Louisville's college takes up the entire, 25% of the city. The campuses are huge, and so there's just so much money tied up in these games that what's at the forefront is not competition. What's at the forefront is we need to be able to get sponsorship. And that's what bowl games do. Bowl games give you the opportunity for someone to slap their name on something and pay you. And so it's just like the Chase Center, right? So it's a tough thing to pick apart and try to figure out because again, I feel like with collegiate sports, so much of it is tied up in how much these institutions make. And so unless you can convince them they can make the same amount of money doing it, they're not going to do it. And just like golf, it's ran by a bunch of really old Caucasian guys. So, it's not going to be.
The committee is even more trash because they can control who goes in.
Exactly.
And there's people who are undefeated who deserve a shot. I mean, Cincinnati got a shot this year, and granted, they got their asses whooped by Alabama. You gave the opportunity for an undefeated team to earn that respect. Right. I don't care what conference they play in or anything.
Right.
If you go undefeated, you deserve the opportunity to be in the conversation.
Right.
It's just simple, but they're going to go, they look at this, who's going to draw a crowd? Well, Alabama travels.
Right.
Clemson travels. Right. Ohio State travels, this and that. Stop.
Yeah.
Just stop. Give these fans, if they travel, you're still going to get a sellout regardless. It doesn't matter. But you're going to have people watching you. You will still get these ads. Just, I don't know how many times I can see a fucking elephant, from
You mean you don't like the Pampers Bowl? Pampers Bowl?
Well, if they did that, it's for fucking
right. The Pampers.
Absolute trash. I mean,
bowl.
they got a way. But before we digress here, I got to get something off my chest once again here. MLB's back.
All right.
Baseball started today. Now, I know that's not a topic that is, high on
I know.
you. But I'm just going to give it.
I will be asking
questions. I
questions.
can give two shits less. Baseball is
I'll be
back.
asking questions.
Ask the questions because baseball sucks right now. Baseball. You spent a month and a half. You spent all the offseason with this stupid ass lockout over your head. This lockout loomed overboard to the point where they had to cancel a week of spring training games just to get their shit together. Get your shit together. You didn't market the brand after the lockout to promote this game. We talked earlier about how Tiger Woods just promoted golf himself. How Kobe Bryant changed the mind. When he's on, you hear a lot of players going, I idol Kobe, right? The NBA ran with that. NFL runs with marketing. For fuck's sakes, golf can run with marketing. These sports brand their game. Baseball don't do shit. You want to talk about people who hold on to the past truly for too long? It is baseball. They didn't do anything to get people's minds off of this lockout over the last 3 months here. They just said we're going to play spring training, and now here comes regular season. And I honestly, you won't catch me at a fucking Giants game to begin with, only because I'm protesting that Bonds didn't get into the Hall of Fame, and that's a different story there. But baseball did not do anything to say, sorry fans, they never apologized. We got to make this up to you. You're going to see sellout crowds over the weekend because baseball's back, so everyone wants to go see a game. But I guarantee you on Monday or Tuesday of next week, there's going to be about 15,000 people in a 40,000 seat stadium watching baseball. They're not. If you ask an average fan who in baseball right now, you're getting shit.
I don't know.
You got Shohei Ohtani, who is a Japanese-born player who throws about 98 mile an hour on the mound and hits 400-foot bombs. Was the AL MVP, and they're not marketing him.
Yeah. Well,
not market your top. You got.
Baseball is weird. Let's start there.
It's old.
But you know what's funny about it is it's old, right? It's the old time sport, the old American pastime.
Yes.
But there aren't a ton of Americans playing it, you know. So it's just really strange, and you know I think exactly like you just talked about one of the best players in the league being from Japan. So I think what it lacks is some identity as far as, you know, it being an American pastime. One of those things, you know, growing up as a kid in Oakland, California, baseball is one of the least accessible sports that you'll find. Because of the equipment and all the things you need to play a game, because there aren't baseball fields that are free that you can just walk on and start playing baseball. You got to find a field somewhere, and you got to find some other kids who actually want to play baseball with you. It's not the same as me picking up a basketball and walking down the court and just shooting by myself or whatever. And it wasn't something that's promoted to the youth, at least in areas where I grew up, you know, because that wasn't it. And a lot of that is because we don't see ourselves in the people that play the sport. And I think that's the issue that baseball has is, you know, you need to see more Dontrelle Willises. You need to see more guys who you can recognize and identify with. And for instance, I give you an example. I went to Oakland High School. When I was in Oakland High School, we had Allende Ibaka, who ended up going to go play for Cal. After he went to Cal, he played overseas. Okay? A couple of years after that, you had a young man named Dame Lillard, who also came out of Oakland High School. Went and played for Weber State, now plays for the Portland Trail Blazers. The point is, in environments where I grew up, you know somebody, right? You've been around people. Or even Leon Poe, who used to play at Oakland Tech, ended up playing for the Celtics was drafted by the Celtics for a little bit. Right. You know guys. You know, you grew up in an area where people you see guys playing at the high school level. You go and watch those games. You see those guys playing. You're like, okay, cool. That dude is tight. I like him. You didn't see that a lot with baseball where I grew up. You know what I mean? So I think baseball needs to do a better job of marketing itself to its own, and really needs to they need to step it up a notch in recruiting and putting money into programs that help get kids from inner cities into more into baseball and more involved in the baseball, because they need to create not only that fan base but also the next generation of talented players. Your best athletes play basketball and football right now. What baseball needs is a true athlete. You need guys like that. You need a Russell Wilson. You need to play baseball. No, seriously. You've got Kyler Murray. You've got guys that you've had an opportunity to get, but you're losing out. Baseball's losing those guys to other sports. And what do those guys do when they go to the NFL and when they go to play basketball? They promote the crap out of themselves. Russell Wilson's everywhere. You know who his wife is. You know, he's on commercials all over. You know, these guys market themselves, and they use Nike, they use Reebok, they use the other sports brands to help propel them forward, and their sport piggybacks on them because they need to be able to sell it. And so baseball needs to kind of take a page out of that book. I don't remember a baseball shoe since Ken Griffey Jr. Think about it. I mean, I can't remember a signature baseball shoe since Ken Griffey. And so baseball really needs to put some of their players to the forefront and do a better job of advertising. I know it's a long season, so it's tough to advertise for that long for that many games, but you need to hang your hat on somebody and say this is the guy, and hand them a ball and run with it and say, okay, how do we promote this dude? Who do we get in the room to help us promote this sport, to promote this person, so that we can make ourselves a younger, more vibrant brand? Because the old guard is dying, and you can't continue to, and this sounds so rude, but dead people don't watch sports. So you're going to have to find a way to get the new generation involved and get these guys going. I'm not talking about generations of baseball players who grew up playing. I'm talking about other people, everybody else. You need the regular person to watch baseball, not just people who had grandfathers that watched baseball. The average fan. You need to get that person into the building. So you need to figure out how to do that.
Well, and baseball does have a program for the inner cities. It's called RBI, but it's not really.
It doesn't work as well as the one in other countries. Let's just say that.
Let's put it like that. And here's the thing: baseball has talent. It's not like that. It's not there. There's guys I paid money to go see and watch. Just like if I went to an NBA game and I knew, even if I knew the Celtics were coming to town, I'm going to watch Jason Tatum. Yeah. I'm going to watch LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch Dame Lillard versus Steph Curry, because that is always a fun matchup.
Yeah, it is.
You go to a game and say, that's what I want to see. The problem with baseball is they do not have that athlete. They don't have that promotion to say, I need to go see that athlete play.
Yeah.
Like, as a baseball fan, it upsets me, because everyone's moved past from the past time. The history will always be there, but you don't want to move forward to what this generation is. You are not catering to this generation. You have an athlete for the first time since Babe Ruth, who is, I can't even remember the 1900s.
1930s, 20s, yeah, I got you.
There hasn't been an athlete that did both things the way he did until last year, when Shohei Ohtani showed out.
Yeah.
And the only time we talked about Shohei Ohtani is when Stephen A. Smith went on ESPN and just made some vulgar comments about him being Asian.
Yeah.
He's not wrong about that, because baseball has not done anything to make Shohei Ohtani, who, by the way, is international, blow this up. LeBron James is popular in Japan. You know why? Because Nike ran with him. The NBA put him on a poster. They put Michael Jordan on a poster in Italy, and all of a sudden, in The Last Dance, the Laker team is popular.
Yeah.
You have that opportunity now. There's other. I don't even know half the teams, because they don't promote these guys here.
Yeah.
It's hard to follow baseball, because it's like, I don't know who the fuck that is. Yeah. I watched the Giants last year for the first time in living in Hawaii and everything. I was like, who the fuck is on this roster? I don't know who these guys are, but they were winning games and they caught my attention.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch the Giants. I love my team to death. But just the fact that baseball just doesn't want to do shit with their athletes, don't want to promote the sport. For God's sakes, Nike is a jersey. They make their jerseys. There is a swoosh on this jersey.
Yeah.
And they're not doing anything to get this off the sport, because MLB does not like it when you get away from the pastime, when you get away from celebrating home runs. For God's sakes, let a man fucking dance for hitting a ball 430 feet. Yeah. If I hit all that far, I'm throwing my bat 20 feet in the air, and I might be tired because I'm never doing that shit.
It's funny. The NFL went through the same experience, right, where they were sort of struggling with bringing in the new school, and guys like Ocho Cinco started doing all this extra stuff, and they were so pissed that they just started throwing flags on everybody. You couldn't do anything anymore.
And people were trying to collect money for celebrating something that they were doing.
And eventually the NFL came to the conclusion that they just had to embrace it. And then they changed the rule to just make sure there's only one person with you and not an entire team, which now I don't even think it matters anymore. Guys do whole team celebrations. They take defensive photos with all the teammates next to them, and so you have to embrace the youth, because ultimately that's where everything is going. And like I said, NFL went through the same struggle. MLB, as kind of the last of a dying breed of really just not able to embrace the times as they are. I mean, it's 2022. You know what I mean? We can't do things like we did in 1930.
I will tell
Just
you
can't.
this, America. I'm like, this is what I'm going to end on. If you had any skills to be a baseball player, and you put a bat in your hand, and someone threw a 94 mile an hour fastball, and you have point 0.1 seconds to make up your mind and swing, and you hit this ball 430 feet, and you see how high and far it goes in the air, I'm staring at that shit. They call it pimping. I am putting on my my top hat, and I'm strutting. It is a skill to do that, and it should be appreciated to do that there. Just like the
Yeah.
NFL is letting guys celebrate in the end zone. And tell me we didn't get some of the best end zone
Yeah.
celebrations
Oh man,
over the last.
did you see Tyreek Hill when he ran in the playoffs? When he ran away from dude and put up the peace sign as he was running, going into the end zone? You never see that. I mean, those type of things. That's just a part of the game. I mean, guys should have an opportunity to be excited. They should have an opportunity to do a little dance or something. I mean, they gotta be. They're people, for goodness sake. I mean, we can't expect them to behave by robots. The average person is working a 9-to-5 job for 40 hours, containing all of their emotions because they can't do it in a traditional work environment. You think they want to go and watch a sport where people are doing the same thing? Of course not. That's stupid.
I want to see someone do something. When I see Steph Curry shimmy on the court,
I want to see excitement.
All man on the planet, by all means, do it. Do I want to see Draymond scream and yell and get a technical? By all means,
yes.
Do it. Let players have their fun. Let the game be fun for them. This is a child's game.
I hate Patrick Beverly, but I understand why he exists. For me to hate him, that makes me watch the sport. So if I see the Timberwolves playing my team, or if I see whatever team he's on, he's still on the Timberwolves. But you know, when he was with the Clippers, especially when I saw the Clippers, and I saw the Clippers play up against a good team with a good solid guard, I want to see the matchup because I wanted to see him get his ass kicked, and that's just a part of the sport. That's the beauty of watching the sport. Yes. Rather it be good or bad, whether you like it or you dislike it, it draws you to the game. So you need that excitement. You need some of that, on both sides. So yeah, they definitely, man, they gotta, get with it.
Baseball,
throw a bat.
Get with it. If you don't get with it, you're gonna start losing people. There's no sense in building 40,000 seat stadiums and having 15,000 people fill it all season until the playoffs come, and then and there's bandwagons coming out. Upselling tickets, paying $18 for a hot dog that's been sitting on the floor.
I do not. That's the one thing that gets on there is, man, you gonna charge me $16 for these nachos? You know damn well that nacho cheese is the same one that come in a can to be a Smart Final. You know what I'm talking about? The orange container.
Yeah.
Doesn't really have. It's not really made from cheese or milk or anything. It's just a liquid substance. I'm paying $16 for that, and don't let me get a beer because then now I'm paying $50 for everything.
Yep, and you better be lucky you by yourself because you have the family to that.
Oh man,
I need chicken tenders, French fries.
You kidding me, man?
Come on, make it worth spending the money. I have no problem wanting to spend money at a game, but if I'm not, you got to make it worth it, man. It's just it's sad because baseball's a fun sport to watch when you're there. I mean, it's better live than it is in
Very
person.
Much so.
Or it's at home. No one's gonna watch it. I watch it at home, and I'm taking a nap by the third inning. Waking up by the 6th inning, I'm like, oh, I guess I didn't miss much. But when I'm at the game, man, I'm dialed in. But God, just promote your players, please. You got athletes up and down the board. I'm sure they're out there. I don't even know who you are, but the athletes that are there, for God's sakes, Bryce Harper is hated by most teams. Would you promote that guy as a villain and let him succeed? Yeah. Let him win a championship and watch what happens. Ratings go through the roof.
Some WWF stuff right now. You make him a heel. You gonna be out there spitting on people, tripping people.
Put his table. Start lining up bats and slamming people.
There you go.
Bats.
Boom. Forget it. Beat the Gatorade bottle down. The jug down. Just whack it.
Bryce Harper fought his own teammate a long time ago. That was funny to watch. It got baseball's attention.
Yeah.
You got
different from the norm.
But just promote it, please. Come on. Do me a favor. Get me back interested before I don't go to a game this year.
Absolutely.
Unless someone's got free tickets and hook it up. I got you.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, man. All right, well, look, we're reaching the 50-minute mark, man. I think I'm gonna call it a night, man.
We said
this was only supposed to run for about 20, 30 minutes, and this really was for the purpose of making sure that that everyone can see us. We've accomplished that. So, so,
well, good on you, good on everyone.
yeah,
But we'll have a live show on Sunday
yeah,
again. Well, not like there are any live, but we'll be back Sunday to our regular broadcast and everything. So a lot to talk about on Sunday. We'll have some more fun with this. So
absolutely.
I'll catch you later,
All
brother.
right.